And like I mentioned, it was a prestigious event yesterday. The 2012 edition of the Forbes Africa Person of the Year Award took place in Lagos at the Exclusive Porsche Center. 5 nominees were Joyce Manda, the Malawian President, Aliko Dangote, the President of Dangote Group, Dr. James Mwangi, the CEO of Equity Bank, and Tony Elumelu, the founder of Heirs Holdings and one-time CEO of UBA. And lastly, Stephen Bradley Sad, the CEO of the biggest pharmaceutical company in South Africa. At the end of the day, Dr. James Mwangi, the CEO of Equity Bank, carried away the coveted prize, and he's with us in the studio today to share some thoughts. Thank you so much, Dr. Mwangi, for joining us, and congratulations to you. Truly coveted prize, as we can see there, the award given to you yesterday. How does it feel, especially for you? Because I know this is a trio of awards for this year. You started off with the All Africa Business Leaders Awards, the Ernst & Young Entrepreneur Awards. Of course, that was a global award. And then to end it all, the Forbes Africa Person of the Year. How does it feel?
Thank you very much. It's very humbling, but also very, very fulfilling. And as a son of Africa, seeing Forbes Africa naming me as its Persons of the Year, as I said, it's very, very humbling and fulfilling too.
And let's get your thoughts on how you've moved a struggling bank like Equity Bank in 1992 to become what is now the largest bank by deposits in Kenya. And one would ask, was that your ambition at the start in 1992 when you got on board? Did you ever foresee? Because I remember when I spoke to Aliko Dangote a while ago, he said he never thought he would be what he is today. He just took it 1 year at a time. Is this how you have progressed as well?
Yeah, when we started Equity Bank in 1992, turning it from a technically insolvent building society, number 66 out of 66 in the financial sector in Kenya, we never thought we would go this far. We knew we would revive the organization. We knew it had a role it could play, but we never thought that in 15 years it would be the biggest bank in the Eastern Central African region. But in market capitalization, in number of customers, maybe ranked the biggest bank in Africa. But more importantly, we could not have imagined the impact that Equity is having in the region that it's operating in, whether it is from a commercial perspective or from social corporate responsibility.
All right, so you never saw this coming. But give us your thoughts as an entrepreneur in Africa. How has the terrain changed in your view since 1992? Clearly, there are lots of aspiring entrepreneurs that will be inspired by awards like this. So your thoughts on how the market has changed for entrepreneurs?
A lot has changed. One is the reforms that we have seen, both political, legal, and structural reforms in our economies. I think that has been the biggest and most significant impact. We have also seen during that period enhanced globalization. We have seen a lot of innovation during the period. And specifically in Africa, we have also seen a lot of investment in infrastructure. So all these has played a huge role in that very rapid transformation of Equity Bank.
I'm sure you've had to answer this question a couple of times, but I'm still going to ask you again. What makes a great entrepreneur in Africa?
Africa provides very, very unique opportunities for entrepreneurship. But for an entrepreneur to succeed in Africa, he must have a unique perspective of risks. If you really take risk the way, for instance, it's predicted out there, then you always avoid doing business in Africa. But if you take a unique perspective and say, here is an opportunity, yes, I appreciate there are risks, but I'll manage the risks, then that creates a huge opening. I think the second aspect is resilience and rapid recovery. In Africa, there are huge challenges. One has to be resilient, and when there are setbacks, you must quickly recover from those setbacks and move on. I think in innovation and creativity, not doing things the way they have always been done has also played a very significant role in making Equity what it is today. And lastly, is really looking at where one has knowledge, whether it's local knowledge, the competence, and the competitive advantage. If you look at Equity Bank, it didn't really confront the traditional commercial banks upfront.
Right.
It created its own market, and it's
Right.
only when it had grown in capacity and strength, then it became inclusive. But it protected itself, insulated itself by creating a new market. And from there, otherwise, going straight to confront the multinational companies operating in Kenya, from the onset, it would have been very challenging.
Right. So you've mentioned your thoughts on what a great entrepreneur means for Africa, but what about social impact? And many would argue that Africa is a continent in need, so much poverty. Your thoughts on the importance of entrepreneurs also making that social impact to improve the lives of people?
I think entrepreneurs practicing in Africa must appreciate that corporate social responsibility is a means of investment. We're trying to make the environment much, much better. We're enlarging the market by supporting the development, both of the people and the market itself. So it essentially, one needs to also appreciate that they operate on the license of the public. And if the public is not then happy with an institution, then that poses a huge challenge. And lastly is that you can't create aloofness when circumstances are such that they demand compassion.
Right.
And entrepreneurs must be compassionate when they see young kids who are not able to go to school, young kids whose future is dependent on those interventions that enables them to get to school.
So, Dr. Mwangi, final word from me. What next for you? What next for Dr. James Mwangi? Equity Bank obviously has made its mark on the African continent. What next for you?
I think for us, what we really focusing is how can we strengthen Equity Bank to move to the next level? How can we fast track our regional expansion? We are now operating in 5 countries. How do we move on to the 6th, the 7th country so that essentially we become a Pan-African organization serving the whole of the African continent?